We have Dan here from Empress Effects. Hi, Dan.
How you doing?
Doing great. How's your show been?
It has been extremely busy, which is awesome, and that's why we're here, right?
Yeah, well, Sunday's been nice and slow, but I wanted to take a look at your new pedal you guys have here.
Yeah, the ZOIA.
The ZOIA. Very cool name, by the way.
Thank you. I can't take credit for that. That was all Steve.
Well, still, I heard you have all the know-how on this pedal, and I saw you explaining it, so let's go ahead and get our explanation here.
Yeah, for sure. So the best way I can describe the pedal is that it's like a platform that you can create your own effects or sounds on. So I'll go to a blank patch here and just show you the basics of how you would route stuff together and draw modules on the grid. Each square is a control, and then a group of squares together would be a module. So I can go in here and add a new module. In this case, I'll do a quick delay line for you.
So the moment it's two squares, it becomes a module.
Well, no, module could even be one square.
Oh, okay.
But like here, for example, this is the input jack here. So it's only one square because it's just a plug and you just connect one thing to it.
Got it.
This is a module as well, but it's two because we're using both outputs. We're doing stereo output.
Very nice.
So here's our delay module, and it's 4. The first thing on a module is always going to be its input. The last thing is always going to be its output.
Right.
And then the stuff in between are controls that are specific to that module. So in this case, we have the modulation for the delay line, and then we also, I didn't add a delay at all.
No, that's okay.
I was talking to you, I wasn't paying attention.
So tapping the squares changes the individual parameters of that effect, which is why there's 4 squares for the delay, because there's 4 individual parameters that you can change. Is that correct?
In this case, there's 2 parameters and 2 connections. So,
okay, that's right. You said that the outside ones are input and output. So every module is going to be at minimum 2 squares. It's an effect.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Makes more sense.
Yeah, with the exception of connections would be the exception. Because you could also, like, say I just wanted to connect to this tap switch. That would also be 1 square because it's just like a plug as well, right? Like if I dropped in the interface for stomp switch here, now this is just 1 plug because it's literally just a connection to that stomp switch.
Tap switch.
Yeah. So if I wanted to control this delay line with the stomp switch, I could just click on what I want to connect and then where I want to connect it to, which is the tap tempo input, and now I can set like the delay time with the external switch.
Got it.
Right?
So that square, the third square, would be the delay time square to adjust.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't know what it is, any square you click on is going to tell you the module it's in on the first line, and then what its function within that module is on the second line. And then below that will be any parameters you can change. So in this case, it would be like the modulation rate.
Okay, Dan, now you help me make sense of it, because I've watched the videos and I couldn't understand it. Now I understand it.
Right.
So let's see what we can do with this thing. Let's see how we can stack some modules together.
Yeah, so like we could get, like, if we wanted to keep going on this delay, like we could, well, I guess the next thing for me would be to add feedback. So if I want to go out of this delay line back into itself, we can create a feedback so that the decay will fall off naturally. So you just connect output to input, and then you set the strength of that connection here. So in this case, it would be how fast we want it to decay, right? Because we're determining how much signal is recycled back through that delay line, right?
Interesting.
So the stronger that signal is, the longer it's going to take to decay away, right? Because you keep sending some of it back through itself.
So can you triple it, quadruple it, as many times as you want?
Well, you can't send a signal more than 100% of itself. But it could go, like if you set this at 0 dB, which is basically like a full connection, it'll repeat indefinitely because it'll just keep going around and keep going around, right? So it'll never decay.
Interesting.
Which is probably not what you're looking for in a delay.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, maybe if the ambient guys want something like that.
Yeah, there's definitely a case for it. And like if you take a little audio chunk, you want like an infinite hold type thing, you can do that for sure. And that's a case where you would want it looping like forever.
Interesting. So let's take a look at what she can do.
Yeah, so we could do, so say we wanted to do this in stereo, I could add another delay line. Like right now, I haven't connected this delay line, but let me just copy it here. I'll go shift copy, and then, that was shift move, sorry. Shift copy, done. So now I have 2 versions of this delay line. And they're both, this one's connected to, I'm just going to delete that connection here. So they're both feeding back into themselves. So now I'll connect input to the left, output to the left output, and then input to the right, output to the right output. So now we have a stereo delay, right?
yeah.
Except they're both the same, right? Because they both have the same delay time, and there's no modulation or anything changing them. So it's going to sound mono because the information is the same out of both speakers.
But we can change the delay modules individually now to make it sound different, right?
Yeah, so we could change their delay times, or we could add modulation to make them like warble within each other. So we could add like an LFO here. That's under CV. These are the categories basically for the types of modules. So if we drop in an LFO, we can have this. Oh, that's a square wave. We're probably going to want a sine wave for our LFO. So I'm just going to go in and edit that and change it to sine wave. There we go. So now we have a sine wave LFO, and we can use that to modulate because we have a modulation input here, right?
Now, is that blinking green light the nature of the sine wave? How fast?
That's exactly it. Yeah. So this is the output of the LFO, and while it's selected, you'll see what it's doing on the grid, and if it's deselected, you'll have an LED indicator like showing you
how fast
what it's doing. So if I like turn up the speed here, you'll see this. The rate will increase there.
Nice.
Right. So we can use that to modulate these delay times so that they get out of sync with each other, right? Which gives us the spread and it gives us the stereo field. And all you got to do for that is connect the modulation output to the modulation input on the delay line. And now we have that controlling that. And now it's going to be moving our delay time like way too much because the strength is so strong and it's sending a full range sine wave.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is reduce the connection strength. Again, the same way we did with what did we reduce the signal strength? Oh yeah, on the feedback.
Yes.
So the same way you would reduce the signal strength of the LFO so that it's only moving the delay time a little bit, which will give you that kind of tape warbly kind of sound, right?
Very nice.
So I don't have it plugged in, so I can't hear it. So I'm not sure how much I want to decrease it by, but probably something in that range is about where you'd want it.
We can plug it in, right?
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
I think it's plugged in down there.
No, we don't have stereo going out to the amp. That's the only thing.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be able to hear the interaction of the two. I do have headphones here if you have an input.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
There we go. So got these are going. I'm also going to connect with something we didn't do originally. I'm going to connect the dry signal. So that would just be the input to the output. That'll give our dry signal.
Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah, so already it's sounding pretty cool. And that I actually did without listening to it.
Yeah, that's for not listening to it. That sounds pretty cool. It seems like you know your pedal. Can we stack one more thing on there?
Yeah. Do you want? I'm just looking up here. Like we have the tap tempo already. We have the feedback controls. Maybe. How about this? Why don't in our delay line? Why don't we darken it up so it has like a more tape-like character? So I'm going to delete the connections from the delay line to the output, and I'm going to put something in line there. So you just highlight the connection and then shift delete. Highlight the connection, shift delete. So now our delay lines aren't actually passing any audio. So signal, the delay line ends here. But we can add EQ, so I'll add a filter here, a low pass filter. So we have the filter input, the filter output, and then we have the frequency and then the Q, so how quickly we want that rollout to happen. So I'm going to connect my left output into the filter and then the filter into the left output. So now we should have. So now I'll build another one.
That's very interesting.
I'll add another filter here. Audio.
So it seems like it just takes like an hour or two to get used to building modules and editing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty quick once you grasp, like, there's only a couple things you can do, right? Like you drop in modules, you connect them together, and then you kind of tweak. So there's not a whole lot of like user interaction to actually learn. It's more learning how you want, or like what you want to build, and like how you go about actually putting it together. So
very interesting.
yeah, a lot of it just comes with understanding the theory of you know, what the particular effect you're making actually, like how it actually fits together, right?
Would you mind playing like a minute or two on that module we made there?
Yeah, sure.